this is our first podcast, number 1.
Numero uno, as they say.
So we're the property guys. First episode really is learning more about who we are. Like
Exactly.
why we got into this, why we do what we do, where we're from, all these fun things. So start, where are you from?
Well, let's start with welcome to the podcast.
Okay, go.
So thanks for listening. Welcome to the podcast, guys. But I'll tell you where I'm from. So I grew up in upstate New York, for Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
Loved it up there. It was very cold, very wintry, as everyone always knows and asks me about. So at some point after high school, I just left. There was nothing left for me to do in New York. At that time, I wanted to get out, experience new things. Went to college in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
After Illinois, while in college in Illinois, I met my wife, my soon future wife, I should say.
Her name's Jody.
Jody. We met Jody out in Illinois State.
Jody, if you're listening to this, hi.
Hey. Right, we actually had the same job on campus. So we worked at the outdoor store together one summer where we would just rent camping equipment to the community at large. It was the best college job of all time because you could drink all night and then just go crash in a camping cot, and then whenever somebody would walk in, you'd
wake up, hey.
Yeah, you'd wake up. The community at large knew they were running from college kids, so there was no kind of like this, you had to be proper type thing. It was just like, what do you want?
No expectation of customer service.
No expectations of customer service.
Get it.
Yeah, and then when we were hungry, we'd go to 7-Eleven across the road, start grilling food on the Coleman Grills out back. Yeah. It was the best job ever. Yeah, after college, moved out to San Diego. That was 2003.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much here for the rest of my life, as we are here for the rest of our life.
So what was San Diego like when you moved out here? It's changed a lot since then.
Yeah, so San Diego, when I first moved out here, I had nothing to compare it to, so it still was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It was where I wanted to move. It's where I wanted to land. It's where I wanted to live. I just liked the whole experience out here. The sun. It was the best February I've ever spent out in San Diego. So everyone since that one has been colder as I've gotten used to the climate.
I know. Which is kind of funny, and this is what we do on this podcast. We get on segues, but not like on a segue, but a segue.
We could take a segue to
You could go there, yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family that's on the East Coast in New Hampshire, Maine. If you guys are watching or listening to this, hi. And what's funny about it is that I've talked to this about this before, but our homes here are colder than they are maybe many places in the country. When you go to the Midwest, the East Coast, where it's cold, their houses are like 80 degrees.
They can be.
The heat is always on. Why do people do that?
They're just so used to having the heat on. I was recently back out to Chicago for a wedding, and we never turn the heat on. Like, the heat is never on.
Right.
Whatever the temperature is outside is what it is in our house, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. When we went to the Midwest, I'd walk into someone's house. Even if it was at 75 or 78, which is not that bad, I was sweating.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here right now.
So you people that think we're babies here, come live in our houses, all right? Yeah, the climate outside might be nice, but our houses are way colder, and that's where you live and sleep. So
yeah, people don't realize it gets cold out here in San Diego at night.
Right.
In the wintertime,
the
temperature can drop. Now, I mean, let's keep it in perspective. It's not getting -12 or anything like that.
No.
But still.
So what do you think about, was it hard for you to go from, like, transitioning from being, like, basically college student?
Sure.
You're out here new, you're probably just hanging out and partying, and then kind of starting a family life and getting serious about a career and all that. What was that path like for you?
Well, it was tricky. I mean, it was hard because I moved out to San Diego. I knew no one. I had nothing. Everything I owned, I just packed in my car and landed in Ocean Beach.
Yeah.
No job, no prospects, nothing. And me and my brother came out with me. We literally were bums and lived in my car. And every day we woke up and we went across the street to Newsbreak in OB, still there.
Yep.
We would go through the reader, just look for different jobs we could get, just anything to get money coming in. I would take a shower in their bathroom, like in the sink. I'd wash my hair and brush my teeth, put on my deodorant, and go on job interviews 24/7.
Right.
I got a job doing Ritz Camera.
Okay.
Selling cameras.
They're back too, by the way. Ritz Camera's back. They were dead, now they're back.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's
Shout out to Ritz Camera.
Shout to Ritz. I like that. Dude, selling cameras is fun. I became manager pretty quickly to some stores. I guess that's a whole other story. My brother got a job at Subway. We were still living in the car for a little while as we were getting paychecks rolling in. It was funny.
Yeah.
He'd like bring me home like Subway sandwiches. I lived on Subway sandwiches for a couple weeks there.
Right.
Eventually, we met another gentleman from Alabama doing the same exact thing we did.
Yeah.
So all three of us like pooled our monies together. We got a rental right next to Dog Beach in OB.
Nice.
Jody was doing her internship in Peoria, Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
to be a teacher. So I came out 6 months before she came out. I'm just like, look, we have 6 months to get this put together because when Jody comes out, we're getting our own place, right?
So I guess I just talk about my stuff,
Yeah, what
right?
about you, buddy? How'd you get out here?
Well, I'm from Los Angeles originally, so I've been in Southern California for a while. Went to school up there, college, all that stuff. I was married at some point, got a divorce, and then eventually decided that I needed to get away from where my ex-wife was and all that stuff. So I ended up back here in San Diego 20 years ago, something like that. Yeah, and then I got into the whole real estate thing and all that. But my journey's been interesting because I haven't moved. I did live in Boston for about 2 years. That was the only time I lived away from Southern California. I lived in Santa Barbara, go Gauchos.
Nice.
I lived Westchester, go Lions. That's LMU, by the way.
Nice, there you go.
And then I live in San Diego, Ocean Beach, Point Loma primarily. I did live up on Dictionary Hill, the very top. Dictionary Hill is this like massive, steep, it's not even a mountain, but it's just a steep community up above a not so nice area of Spring Valley.
Right. It is steep, I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost had like two lives in a sense, right? So I had the life where I went to college and did all that. I got my grad degree and then I got married. And then I thought, okay, I got married, so that means that now I'm going to be in a career, have kids and that whole thing. And then it just ended up that through a whole other story, but anyway, that relationship went down the drains, which was fine. We were actually not a great fit. We never had kids for that reason, whatever. But it's interesting because I feel like when I moved back to San Diego, it was like a rebirth of my life in a sense because I was kind of starting over, you know?
Right.
Like the whole direction
You were
changed.
like a butterfly coming out of its
butterfly.
cocoon for the second time.
Or hopefully a phoenix is what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, Phoenix is way cooler.
Well, have you ever seen, I don't think you have, I think I've asked you this before. So there's this movie called The Salton Sea, and it's with
I haven't seen that one.
Val Kilmer, okay? Everybody out there must see. Beautiful movie, well done. Little disturbing. Is all about this guy who his wife gets killed. They go to the Salton Sea for a vacation, or they're going through there, and he's
So it's a family movie?
No, he's a jazz musician. So there's this beautiful scene of him playing a saxophone out on the water with his wife. His wife needs to use a bathroom, I think it is, or something. These people end up letting him come into this business, and then it ends up that they basically they're crooks, they're murderers. And as he goes to the bathroom and they switch, they kill her, and he watches it from behind the door. And then he escapes, all right? So his lifelong goal is to find out who killed his wife and to get retribution. So he ends up joining this kind of underground scene of meth users and gets into that whole scene.
This is a Val Kilmer movie?
Yeah, in order to track it back to, he tracks it back to these guys where they were producing meth out in the desert.
Right.
And he gets them back.
Iceman.
So
Iceman gets him back.
Yeah. But the cool part is you never know is he really addicted or is he doing this just to basically be undercover.
Right.
Ooh, so
cool.
But now I'm going to bring it all back around. Watch this.
Tripping.
So in the movie, there's this great scene because he's got to reinvent himself to some extent, where he just gets all like he was a very clean cut kind of guy, and he gets into like tattoos and the whole meth scene and all this. So there's this beautiful scene where he takes his shirt off, and on the back is this beautiful phoenix on his back, and you just see it in the mirror, and you're like, he's reinventing himself. He's flying the new phoenix,
The new Phoenix. There you go.
So
and I think as we do this podcast more and more, people will learn how many odd similarities we really have with each other.
Yeah.
So you're associating yourself with a phoenix. My high school mascot was a phoenix.
Look at that.
We were the Phoenix Firebirds.
There you go. And both our brothers are named
Matt.
What else? There's a bunch of stuff.
It'll just organically keep coming out. But yeah, there's a lot of odd similarities.
Yeah, there are.
Cool. I think the next step is, so we're both in San Diego at this point, right?
Yeah.
Now, how did we start working together?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So we, I know you've done construction your whole life. I've worked on homes my whole life. When I was in college, painted houses, doing demo. That's how I learned about them, putting myself through college, just taking jobs like that.
Yeah.
So I think we've always been familiar with real estate and had a love with it.
Yeah, I bought my first house when I was 22, 23. And the only reason I bought it was that I had 2 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't rent a place because everybody's like, oh, you got 2 dogs, you can't, And I'm like, well, fuck it then. I'm just going to buy a house. I'll figure it out. And it ended up that I took like my student loan money and used it for FHA down payment.
Perfect.
And I had a job. And
I used mine for alcohol, so I like yours a lot better.
Yeah. And I bought my first house for $115,000 up in LA, in Northridge, California. And the payment was like $800 a month. It was cheaper than rent. I got to keep my dogs.
Good.
And then, like, I don't know, 3-4 years later when I sold it, I'm like, I sold it for like $195 and I just made $70,000 tax free. And I'm like 25. I'm like, this is pretty cool. Maybe this is something to look at. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Good way to just organically jump into it and see a profit, and there you go.
There's something about home ownership. Like you always say, even if you're renting, you're still paying somebody's mortgage. It's not yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pay my mortgage, renters.
I know. So, so Glenn and I, let's see, we started working in the Morelli Group.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick.
Shout
hey, Angel.
out to Patrick Morelli.
Hope you guys are
Angel
good.
Lopez.
That's right. Up in North County.
Yep.
We were in Carlsbad at the time, at the beginning, Realty Executives, right?
Yes, it was Realty Executives.
That was the first stop, yeah. So I answered actually a Craigslist ad.
So did I.
Yep. It's like, hey, we're looking for team members, blah, blah. So I met, I go and I meet Patrick and...
Where'd you guys meet?
An Angel, up in Carlsbad.
Did you go to the Claim Jumper up there?
No, I think it was in their office, actually,
oh, okay.
From what I remember. Yeah. And I just remember I kind of got the hard sell. So I knew something was up, like they really needed people. I wasn't sure why.
Right.
But I was like, man, I had some clients and some business, but I wasn't as established as I am now.
Sure.
And they were giving me the hard sell, like, so are you interested? Are you interested? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I need to talk to my wife about it, but yeah, I think so. And then it ended up, I found out after I joined, they just had all these leads coming in and they needed to basically hand them off to people to handle them,
That's funny.
What was your interview like?
So at the time, I had my license and I was working at Prudential Dunn down in PB.
Yeah.
Patrick Park. I answered the same Craigslist ad. The team was already a little more developed by the time I came around.
Yeah.
So I just remember, there's times Jody's like, are you ever going to go on this interview? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, Patrick's going on vacation for a week. And it's like, I'm going to meet with him next week. And then that day would come and it's like, hey, sorry, I got tied up with real estate stuff. Can we meet in the next couple of days? And it kept getting pushed back a couple times.
Right.
And it was like, is this going to happen? I'm like, it's going to happen. Don't worry. It's going to happen. Eventually, I went on the interview. He brought me out to a business lunch at Claim Jumper.
Another plug, by the way. Not one of our sponsors, but you're congratulated on that one, yes.
Exactly. So it was they liked me. I mean, obviously they hired me. It was, but what is Angel? Angel, I remember Angel. He was just like, he's a little concerned about my lack of transaction history at the point. Like, can you really handle this? You've only done like a couple things type thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I can definitely get in there. I remember telling him, like, look, I'm like a chameleon, man. Like, wherever I'm at, I'll adapt to it. I would totally do it.
Right.
Later on, he told me, he's like, the chameleon line sealed it for me.
Oh, really?
He's like, it was a perfect analogy. Like, when you said that, it's like, we knew it.
So then you and I joined up. What, 7 years ago about now? 6, 7 years ago?
At this point, yeah.
Right in there. Yeah, we got our own little office. And then, I don't say the rest is history. Certainly we've been through, some growing pains.
That was just the beginning of it, really.
Well, I think the cool part is we realized early on that we had a skill set where we could help people, like, fix stuff up, too. Not just leave them at the door, give them a key, and go, all right, see you later.
Yeah, exactly. Have fun.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've helped people... fix something up to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of how we got into that thing. And then eventually we end up going, well, we can help people that are buying fix up too. And then to get it to where we are now, I mean, it's been cool, but it's been, you know, just like anything that happens, it's a lot of work.
So yeah, it was definitely a growing process.
And there's some failures, and there's, you know, things that you realize that you should be doing better. And talk about some of that, the growing pains of where we are now.
Well, I'll just keep going on with the story. I think kind of after we started working together, you know, then Derek approached us about doing radio.
Right.
And we both did, what's his radio? It wasn't Win This Listing. It was the Great Real Estate Debate.
The Great Debate, yep.
Yeah, we did that.
Yep.
And then we had a good rapport with him through that show. And I remember the day he called, he reached out to me and was like, hey, an agent just canceled off the Win This Listing TV show.
Yep.
We need someone to fill in tomorrow.
Right. Would
you be open to it? Would you and Fred be open? And it's like, of course we would.
Yeah.
And then
he calls me, I'm like, yeah, I guess we're doing it.
Yeah. I was like, hey, we're going to be on TV tomorrow, so let's get our A game. Yeah, I remember that. It was great. We did the show.
Mm-hmm.
Very first time being on TV for me or anything even similar to that.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
It was a while ago, and we just iced it.
Yeah, we did.
We took it home.
We're the only 2-0 still. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the only 2-0 still.
Yeah, When This Listing was a good experience. You're right. And then through that process, Derek just took us aside and he's like, "You guys are really good and you connect with people. Have you thought about doing a show?"
Correct. And that's where Property Guys.
Yeah, that's the genesis of it. And then we just started talking about what we do anyway. Like, this is what we do.
Yeah, we were already doing everything we already do.
And
only now there's a camera that follows
he's
around
like,
sometimes.
we can film it, make it a show. We're like, okay.
Exactly.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, he appreciated how we've just helped people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like we walked in the door and was like,
yeah,
I'm #1 KW agent in the county, blah, blah, blah. I know. Like, boring.
I know.
So.
Well, I think that's one of the things we've realized, that people don't like to be hard sold.
Correct.
And a lot of the training and the techniques that old school agents are taught is like all about the close and the transaction. And, you know, when you go into a listing presentation, you got to have like, you know, a stack of stuff, and here you go, and I got comps, and I got this, and here I need you to sign this listing agreement. It's all about getting them to sign a listing agreement.
Exactly.
And that, to us, that's a wrong approach, because you're not looking to help them. You're looking at your own needs and your own agenda.
Yeah,
and you really need to flip that.
Exactly.
You know, to be successful. We believe anyway.
We still come in with comps. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's not how your listing can help us. It's how we can help your listing.
Correct. Yeah. Very important difference.
Yeah. Hey, we don't sell homes. Homes sell themselves. We market homes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that approach has been successful, and I think it comes across like in the show. You know, the different variants that we do. I think that for me, I think there's a couple like kind of key words or thoughts I always keep in mind, which is like integrity is big.
Yeah.
You know, to me, that's about when you say you're going to do something, do it. Be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Don't push people or twist their arm into maybe making a decision that could hurt them just because it's
good for you.
Yeah, because there's a financial benefit to you.
Sure.
We see that way too much in our industry.
All the time. You know, it goes back to our core little beliefs is, you know, we're here to help people buy, sell, trade, and have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Real estate shouldn't be some mind-numbing, beat you over the head transaction that most people encounter. I mean, that's most people's real estate experience.
Yeah. Well, they've done, you know, the studies they've done are buying your first house, getting married, and the death of a loved one are the 3 most stressful things in your life. Right?
Exactly.
And a lot of times, we're somehow connected with all 3 of those.
Through real estate, you are.
Yeah. People don't realize that. So
I never thought about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, making it fun, because that's kind of our mantra, making real estate fun.
Making real estate fun again.
Is important. It should be fun. It's just like a wedding. You should have a great time. This is a wonderful thing you're doing for yourself.
It's a very serious day, but it's a very fun day as well.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this complicated, stressful, you know, thing that's like a process that you have to go through to get to the end of the tunnel. It can be fun. It can be enjoyable.
Be fun. If we're doing real estate and equating it to the wedding, if we could still bring in the drunk uncle at the wedding to all our viewings, that would make it even more fun.
That would be
on
a
the
lot
real
of fun.
estate side, wouldn't it?
Just have like a
don't mind him.
Like a drunk sidekick.
Yeah, he's
just rolls in.
Yeah, he's
fine. Don't listen to him. He just has to go with us everywhere because he's our drunk sidekick.
That's he's our drunk sidekick. Yeah. He makes real estate fun for us.
So I think, you know, as we've embarked on this podcast, I think that we can kind of share, you know, obviously today we're sharing about us, but
Yeah, today's just
kind of share,
who we are.
I think we can share some honest perspectives on things that maybe
Yep.
agents and real estate people are scared to talk about because it doesn't really benefit them,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
But I think down the road we can talk about some honest stuff behind the scenes that we see. I think that'd be really interesting for
Well, I
people.
think most people would like to hear the behind-the-scenes stories of real estate agents because we see a lot of crazy things.
Yeah.
And then if you're a real estate agent, you get all these like sound bits about what's going on in the marketplace, and you can internalize them and spit them back to your
Yeah.
clients, and it makes
Yeah.
you sound even better. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think there's a little something in here for everyone.
Because I think, you know, it should be informative, right? A podcast should be informative but
Think so.
entertaining.
Yep.
I think it should not bore you to death.
Entertaining.
So anyway, well, let's wrap it up. We got a bunch of work we got to do anyway, but
Yeah.
I know that Tammy's coming in for episode 2.
We'll have Tammy come in for episode
Right.
2. And of course, we'll always stay current with the market and what's going on in this real estate market of ours in San Diego.
That's wacky.
So we'll see what we do for episode 3, but I'm sure it's going to be about interest rates.
Yeah, sure it will be. All right, guys. Thanks
All right.
for hanging out with us and keeping it real with Property Guys.
It was good talking, and
Yeah.
we'll catch you later.
Yeah, we'll see you for episode 2.